Okay, well, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me. Can I start by asking you to briefly summarize what you found out while working on this new paper? So put differently, what are the three most important takeaway points that you want your readers to remember?
The three most important points that I would like my readers to remember about this study are, number one, that the crisis, the Russia-Ukraine crisis, has had a profound impact on cost of living across the world, but in particular for specific groups of people. So in Egypt, which is our case study, it happens to be for the people at the lowest end of the income distribution, and especially people who reside in rural areas. They were really the hardest hit, and they continued to be hard hit throughout the whole of 2022, which is the duration of our study. Another important takeaway is that the income level, or the amount of compensation that the people at the poorest end of the distribution would need to stay at their pre-2022 level of welfare is almost a quarter of their income levels. An interesting finding in this paper is that the middle classes have also sort of caught up to the lowest end of the income distribution, also losing almost 25% of their pre-crisis income levels. Obviously, a clear recommendation here, or a clear finding in this paper, is that proper targeting of those who have lost the greatest level of welfare is an extremely important aspect of how the government should deal with this crisis.
Okay, so why are these findings important today? How does your research fit into the broader questions and discussions about this topic?
These findings are important because Egypt in particular was hit very hard by this crisis. Egypt is a major importer of wheat in the world, and it imports a very large percentage of its wheat from Russia and Ukraine directly, and so it was really hard hit. The level of inflation pass-through in Egypt has been much higher than the rest of the world, and both in the MENA region, both in the rest of the Middle East and North Africa, but also in the advanced economies in Europe and in the United States. So this is a really extreme case of reduction in welfare as a result of the crisis.
Okay, brilliant. And just looking forward now, what do we still need to find out? So what next for researchers like yourself working in this area?
An important question that we still need to find out in this regard is, why was Egypt so hard hit? So this, of course, is a multifaceted question, but one aspect has to do with market distortions within the Egyptian economy. Is that something that's different from the rest of the region? And the other thing is there a way for Egypt to become more self-sufficient, not necessarily 100% self-sufficient, but to produce more of its needs such that it is not as vulnerable to this type of international crisis?